Glass shattered. Heavy breathing filled the air. Footsteps pounded against concrete. She was running. Her arm was broken. Blood dripped from her lip. And the man she had loved for 3 years had just tried to kill her. But that wasn't the part that scared her. What scared her was the voice on the other end of the phone. Calm, cold, deadly, saying only 3 words. I'm already coming. Let me rewind. Because this nightmare didn't start with violence. It started with a question. If you want to see how this ends, hit that subscribe button right now. 6 months earlier, Josephine thought she knew what love was. His name was Darius. Tall, charming, smooth, the kind of man who made a woman feel chosen. Special. They had been together for 3 years. She had given him everything. Her time, her body, her trust. And then one night, over dinner, he had looked at her with those brown eyes she used to get lost in and said, casually, "Joe, I've been thinking, what if we opened a relationship?" She had frozen, her fork halfway to her mouth. What? He had leaned back like he was suggesting a new restaurant. An open relationship. We love each other, right? But maybe we're limiting ourselves. Growth comes from freedom, babe. Freedom. The word had tasted like acid. You want to sleep with other women? I want us to explore, he had corrected. You can see other people too. It's only fair. Fair. Josephine had stared at him, searching his face for a joke. There was none. Are you serious right now? Come on, Joe. Don't be insecure. This could be good for us. Insecure. That word had cut deeper than the rest. She wasn't insecure. She was insulted. But she hadn't said that. She had just nodded, smiled, and said, "Let me think about it." That night, she had cried in her pillow until her throat burned. Darius hadn't waited for her answer. 2 weeks later, he had come home and said, "I'm going out tonight, meeting someone from that app." Josephine had looked up from her laptop. "What app?" "Tinder." "I mean, we're open now, right?" I never agreed. He had sighed and kissed her forehead like she was a child. You didn't say no either. Then he had left. She had sat there, stunned and humiliated. He had come home at 4 in the morning smelling like perfume. Josephine had pretended to be asleep. It had become a pattern. He told her when he was seeing someone, as if he were doing her a favor by being honest. Transparency is respect, he liked to say. Respect. She had wanted to scream. Instead, she smiled, nodded, and played the part of the cool girlfriend. Inside, she was dying. Her confidence crumbled. She stopped wearing makeup, stopped laughing, stopped feeling like herself. Her best friend Tasha noticed. "Girl, you look like a ghost," Tasha said one afternoon as they sat across from each other at a cafe in Seoul. Josephine had moved to Korea a year earlier for work. Tasha had followed 6 months later. She was the only person keeping her sane. "I'm fine," Josephine said. "You're not. What's going on with you and Darius?" Josephine told her everything. Tasha didn't interrupt. She just listened. When Josephine finished, Tasha reached across the table and grabbed her hand. "Joe, he's using you. He says it's about growth. It's about him getting what he wants while keeping you on a leash. You deserve better." Josephine wanted to believe her. She didn't know how. A week later, Tasha showed up at her apartment with wine and her phone. "We're making you a profile." "On what?" "Soulmate. It's this new app. International connections. Deep compatibility. It's not like Tinder." "Tasha, I don't want." "You don't have to meet anyone. Just see what's out there. Remind yourself you have options." Josephine sighed. Tasha wasn't going to stop, so she let her. They spent an hour picking photos and writing a bio. Tasha made it sound better than Josephine felt. Creative. Thoughtful. Looking for real connection. "There," Tasha said, hitting submit. "Done." Josephine didn't think much of it. She put her phone down and opened a bottle of wine. Across the city, in a penthouse overlooking the Han River, a man sat alone. His name was Min Jae. He wasn't physically tired. He never was. But he was exhausted by the weight, the blood, the empire his father had built and left for him to maintain. At 31, Min Jae controlled half of Seoul's underground. Clubs, casinos, protection, and import-export businesses that were anything but legal. His hands were stained with violence, even when they looked clean. His younger sister, Yuna, burst through the door without knocking. "Appa," she called. "You look pathetic. Get out," Min Jae said without looking at her. "No." Yuna dropped onto his leather couch, crossing her legs. At 24, she was studying fashion design and somehow remained untouched by the family's darkness. Min Jae made sure of that. "When was the last time you went on a date?" she asked. "Last month." "That wasn't a date." That was a business dinner with Prosecutor Kim's daughter that father arranged. Min Jae finally looked at her. What do you want, Yuna? She held up her phone. I want you to download this app. No, Appa. I said no. You're going to die alone in this depressing penthouse, surrounded by expensive furniture and cheap whiskey, Yuna said flatly. Is that what you want? Yes. She threw a cushion at him. He caught it with one hand without spilling a drop of his drink. I'm serious, she said. You need to meet someone. Someone real. Not these women father parades in front of you. Not the girls at the clubs who only see your money. There's no such thing as someone real, Min Jae replied. Everyone wants something. Then find someone who wants you for the right reasons, Yuna said softly. Appa, you're not father. You don't have to be alone because he was. Min Jae fell silent. Their father had died alone. Powerful, feared, unloved. Just try it, Yuna pleaded. 1 week. If you hate it, delete it. But please try. Min Jae looked at his sister and the hope in her eyes. Fine, he muttered. 1 week. Yuna squealed and immediately downloaded the app. It's called Soulmate, she said. You create a profile, match with people, talk to them. I know how dating apps work. Do you? She teased. When's the last time you talked to a woman who wasn't terrified of you? For days. Min Jae didn't open the app. Until one night. He scrolled, bored and unimpressed. Then he stopped. Her. Dark skin. Soft curls. Eyes that looked sad even when she smiled. Something shifted in his chest. Possession. He typed a message. Josephine's phone buzzed. Soulmate notification. New message. She almost ignored it. But curiosity won. Min Jae, you look like someone who's been hurt recently. She blinked. She should have blocked him. Instead, she replied, me. And you look like someone who enjoys making assumptions. The typing dots appeared immediately. Min Jae, not an assumption. An observation. Me. You're very confident for a stranger. Min Jae, I'm rarely wrong. Josephine smiled for the first time in weeks. They texted every day after that. At first, it was light and casual. But Min Jae asked questions that went deeper. What's the last thing that made you feel alive? I don't remember. That's the saddest answer I've ever heard. He didn't let her hide. He asked about her dreams, her fears, her past. And he listened. One night, he sent a voice note. His voice was deep and controlled. I don't know where you're running from, Josephine. But you don't have to run anymore. Her breath caught. Darius noticed the change. You've been smiling a lot lately, he said one morning. Have I? Who are you talking to? A friend. His jaw tightened. What kind of friend? Josephine met his eyes. The kind who actually listens. Min Jae asked to meet. She was nervous, but she agreed. The restaurant was elegant and quiet. She saw him before he saw her. Dangerous. Sharp. Magnetic. He stood when she approached. Josephine. The way he said her name made her knees weak. For 2 hours, he focused only on her. When he walked her to her car, he brushed her waist lightly. I don't like the idea of you going home to him, he said. It's complicated. It shouldn't be. They met again a week later, this time at a rooftop bar. The city glowed beneath them. Min Jae ordered for both of them. Josephine didn't mind. There was something about the way he took control that made her feel safe. They talked about everything. Books, music, childhood. And then he asked the question, why are you still with him? Josephine looked away. It's not that simple. It is. You're choosing to stay. He's not a bad person. He's hurting you. She met his eyes. How do you know? Because I see it. Every time you talk about him, you shrink. Tears burn her eyes. Min Jae reached across the table and took her hand. You deserve more, Josephine. And what do you want from me? His gaze darkened. Everything. Her heart pounded. They left the bar together. He walked her to her car again. But this time, he didn't pull away. His hand cupped her face. Tell me to stop. She couldn't. He kissed her, slow, deep, claiming. And she kissed him back like she was drowning and he was air. When they finally pulled apart, she was breathless. I have to tell you something, she whispered. What? Darius and I. We're in an open relationship. His jaw tightened. Whose idea was that? His. Silence. And you agree? I didn't want to lose him. Min Jae stepped back, running a hand through his hair. I don't share, Josephine. I know. But I'll wait, he said, his voice hard. Until you're mine completely. He walked away. Josephine stood there, trembling. Josephine couldn't stop thinking about that kiss. About him. About the way he looked at her, like she was worth fighting for. Darius never looked at her like that anymore. She made a decision. She came home one evening and found Darius on the couch, scrolling through his phone. "We need to talk." He didn't look up. "About?" She sat down across from him. "I met someone." That got his attention. He put his phone down slowly. "What? You said this relationship was open. So I'm seeing someone else." His expression darkened. "Who? Does it matter?" "Yeah, Joe. It fucking does." She laughed. A bitter, angry sound. "Why? You've been sleeping with half the city, and I'm supposed to smile and take it. But the moment I find someone, this is different." "How? How is it different, Darius?" He stood up, towering over her. "Because you're mine." She stood too, getting in his face. "Then why did you open the relationship? Why did you make me feel like I wasn't enough?" "I never said that. You didn't have to. You looked me in the eye and told me you wanted to fuck other women. You came home smelling like them. You threw it in my face every single day. I was honest with you." "You were cruel," she screamed. "You broke me down piece by piece and called it honesty." He grabbed her shoulders. "Lower your voice." "No. I'm done being quiet. I'm done pretending this doesn't hurt. I'm done being your doormat." His eyes flashed with something dark. "You think he's better than me? This guy you just met?" "Yes, I do. You barely know him. I know he makes me feel like I matter. I know he looks at me like I'm the only woman in the world. I know he doesn't make me cry myself to sleep every night." Darius's jaw clenched. "So what? You're going to sleep with him?" "Yes. When? Soon." "How soon?" "That's none of your business." He laughed, cold and ugly. "You want to know something, Joe? You want to know the real reason I opened this relationship? Enlighten me." He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a cruel whisper. "Because I was already fucking someone else. Someone better. Someone who doesn't cry and complain and make everything so fucking difficult." Her heart stopped. "What?" "I've been sleeping with Sarah." The world tilted. "You're lying." "I'm not. Your sister. For over a year now. Way before I even brought up the open relationship." She couldn't breathe. "A year?" "Yeah. And you know what? She's everything you're not. She's confident. Sexy. She knows how to please a man without all the emotional baggage." Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "You're a monster. I'm honest. There's a difference. You destroyed me. You destroyed yourself by being weak." She slapped him. Hard. The sound echoed through the apartment. He touched his cheek, eyes blazing. "You're going to regret that. The only thing I regret is wasting 3 years on you." She grabbed her keys. "Where are you going?" "To see my sister." "Joe, don't you dare say my name again." She walked out, and she didn't look back. Sarah lived 20 minutes away. She drove there shaking, rage burning through her veins. She pounded on the door. Sarah opened it, wine glass in hand, wearing a silk robe. "Joe, what a..." She slapped her. The wine glass shattered on the floor. "What the hell?" "Darius told me everything." Sarah straightened, touching her face, her eyes cold. "Oh, so he finally grew a spine. How could you?" Sarah walked to the kitchen, grabbed a towel, dabbed at the wine on her robe. "How could I what, Joe?" "Sleep with my boyfriend. For over a year, while smiling in my face, while pretending to be my sister." She threw the towel down. "You want the truth? Fine. I don't feel bad. Not even a little bit. Are you serious right now?" "Completely." She crossed her arms. "You had him, and you didn't know what to do with him. You were boring. Predictable. Always crying about something. I was crying because I was being betrayed. You were crying because you're weak." The words hit like a physical blow. "I'm your sister. So what?" Sarah stepped closer. "That doesn't mean anything. You think the world cares about blood? About loyalty? Grow up, Josephine. I loved you. Love is for children. I wanted him. He wanted me. End of story. You're disgusting." She laughed. "I'm practical. There's a difference. You always thought you were so special. So chosen. But you're not. You're just ordinary. And you're a snake. Maybe. But at least I'm honest about what I want." She tilted her head. "You know what's funny? He didn't even enjoy you that much. He told me. Said you were too in your head. Too needy. Too." Josephine lunged at her. They crashed into the wall. "You bitch." Sarah shoved her back. "Get out of my house." "Gladly. But let me make something clear. You're dead to me. You hear me? Dead. Good. I never liked you anyway. You were always Mom's favorite. Always the good one. Always so perfect. Well, look at you now. Broken, pathetic, and alone. I'd rather be alone than be a backstabbing whore like you." Sarah smiled, cold and cruel. "At least I'm not the one who got played." You really thought he loved you? Please. You were just convenient until someone better came along. And that someone was me. You didn't win anything. He's garbage. And you can have him. Oh, I already did. Multiple times. In your bed, actually. Rage exploded in Josephine's chest. She grabbed a picture frame from the shelf and threw it. It smashed against the wall. Get out. Sarah screamed. Happily. Josephine stormed to the door, stopped, then turned back. I hope you're happy together. Two miserable, empty people who deserve each other. Sarah flipped her off. Go to hell, Joe. You first. She slammed the door so hard the frame shook, and she never looked back. She went back to the apartment. Darius was waiting. So you want to see her? She didn't answer. She just started packing. What are you doing? Leaving. He grabbed her arm. You're not going anywhere. Let go of me. No. She tried to pull away. He tightened his grip. Darius, you're hurting me. Good. Maybe you'll finally listen. He yanked her toward him. She stumbled. And then, he hit her. Not a slap. A punch. She fell. Pain exploded in her face. She tasted blood. You think you can just leave? He shouted. After everything I've done for you? She tried to crawl away. He grabbed her hair and pulled her back. You're nothing without me, Joe. Nothing. He hit her again. And again. She didn't know how long it lasted. But eventually he stopped. She heard him breathing hard above her. Clean yourself up, he said. We'll talk in the morning. He walked away. She waited. Listened. Heard his bedroom door close. And then she moved. She grabbed her phone. Her hand was shaking so badly she could barely type. But she managed. Help. She sent her location. And then she ran. She made it 2 blocks before she collapsed. Her arm was broken. She knew it. Her face was swelling. She could barely see. She sat on the curb, shaking, crying, trying to breathe. Headlights. A car screeched to a stop. The door opened. Minjae. He didn't say anything. He just scooped her up like she weighed nothing and put her in the car. Hospital, she whispered. No, my place first. Then hospital. Minjae. Who did this? She didn't answer. His jaw was tight, his hands gripping the wheel, so hard his knuckles turned white. Josephine. Who did this? Darius. Silence. And then, so quietly it scared her. Okay. He took her to his penthouse. A doctor was already there. You called a doctor? I called 5 minutes after you texted. He set her down gently on the couch. The doctor examined her, set her arm, gave her painkillers. Minjae watched the entire time. Silent. Still. Terrifying. When the doctor left, he sat beside her. I'm going to kill him. Minjae. I'm going to find him. And I'm going to kill him. Don't. Please. I just want this to be over. He turned to her. His eyes were empty. It will be over. After I'm done. You'll go to jail. No. I won't. She stared at him. What are you? He didn't answer. He just stood up, kissed her forehead, and left. She didn't know what happened that night. Minjae wouldn't tell her. But the next morning, she got a call from Tasha. Joe, what the hell did you do? What? Darius is in the hospital. Someone beat him half to death. Her blood ran cold. Is he? He's alive. Barely. The cops are asking questions. She hung up. Minjae walked into the room with coffee. What did you do? I warned him. Warned him. He set the coffee down and sat beside her. I told him if he ever touched you again, I'd kill him. He got off easy. Minjae, this is insane. No. What's insane is that he put his hands on you and thought he'd walk away. He cupped her face gently. You're safe now. That's all that matters. She should have been scared, but she wasn't. She felt protected. A week later, she was healing. Her arm was in a cast. The bruises were fading. Minjae barely left her side, but she noticed things. The way people looked at him when they went out. The way they stepped aside. The way his phone rang at strange hours, and he'd leave the room to answer. One night, she couldn't ignore it anymore. Who are you? He looked up from his laptop. What do you mean? Josephine crossed her arms. You know what I mean. People are afraid of you. You have doctors on speed dial. You put a man in the hospital, and no one asks questions. Minjae closed his laptop and leaned back. You really want to know? Yes. He stood and walked to the window. My family controls half the underground operations in Seoul. Drugs, weapons, money laundering, protection. We've been doing it for 3 generations. Her heart stopped. You're Mafia. Yes. She stood up. You're telling me you're a criminal? I'm telling you I'm powerful. There's a difference. Minjae, I can't. I didn't ask you to be okay with it. I'm just telling you the truth. He turned to face her. I've killed people, Josephine. More than I can count. I've hurt people. Destroyed lives. I'm not a good man. Tears filled her eyes. Then why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know who you're falling for. I'm not. You are. And so am I. He crossed the room and stood in front of her. I don't do love. I don't do soft. But you're different. His hand cupped her face. I want you. Completely. But I won't lie to you about who I am. She stepped back. I need time. How much? I don't know. His eyes darkened. 5 days. What? You have 5 days to decide. Stay with me. Or walk away. And if I can't decide, his voice dropped, cold and final. Then I'll decide for you. What does that mean? It means you're mine, Josephine. One way or another. I'm giving you the illusion of choice because I respect you. But make no mistake. After 5 days, if you haven't made up your mind, I will make it up for you. Her breath caught. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. 5 days. Starting now. Josephine stared at him, and she didn't know if she was more terrified or aroused. She moved in with Tasha the next day. Tasha didn't ask questions, just made space for her. You okay? Tasha asked that night. No. Want to talk about it? Not yet. Tasha hugged her, and Josephine cried into her shoulder. 3 days later, Sarah showed up at Darius's hospital room. She thought she'd won. Thought she'd finally have him to herself. She walked in with flowers and a smile. Hey, baby. Darius looked at her with cold eyes. Get out. Her smile faltered. What? I said get out. Darius, I don't care. You're nothing to me. Nothing? We've been together for over a year. You were convenient. That's all. She stepped closer. You don't mean that. He laughed bitter. You're good at one thing, Sarah. Warming my bed. That's it. You're not Joe. You'll never be Joe. Tears filled her eyes. You're choosing her? After everything. I'm not choosing anyone. I just don't want you. She stood there, trembling. And then she left. Humiliated. Destroyed. Darius stared at the ceiling. He'd lost everything. Josephine was gone. Sarah meant nothing. And that man, Min Jae, had humiliated him. Rage boiled in his chest. He made a call. I need help. I'll pay whatever you want. The voice on the other end laughed. Who's the target? A girl. Her name's Josephine. 2 days later, Josephine was walking home from the grocery store. Tasha was at work. The street was quiet. Too quiet. She felt it before she saw it. A van pulled up beside her. Doors opened. Hands grabbed her. She screamed. But no one heard. They threw her inside. And everything went black. Josephine woke up in darkness. Her head throbbed. Her wrist burned. Rope. She was tied to a chair. She blinked, tried to adjust to the dim light. A warehouse. Abandoned. Cold. The smell of rust and oil filled her nose. Then she heard footsteps. Multiple sets. She's awake. A man stepped into view. Tattooed, scarred. Gold teeth gleamed when he smiled. Pretty thing. No wonder he's obsessed. Who are you? Her voice cracked. He crouched in front of her. We're the guys your ex hired to teach you a lesson. Darius. Yeah. Paid us good money too. Said you needed to be reminded who you belong to. Fear crawled up her spine. Where is he? On his way. He wanted to be here when we started having our fun. Another man laughed from the shadows. Boss said we could rough her up a bit. Nothing permanent. The tattooed man stood and circled her slowly. You got a boyfriend now, huh? Some Korean pretty boy. She didn't answer. He grabbed her hair and yanked her head back. I asked you a question. Yes. He released her roughly. Well, he ain't here now, so I guess you don't care that much. The door burst open. Darius stumbled in. Hospital gown half open. Bandages still wrapped around his ribs. He moved like every step hurt. Joe. She stared at him. You're insane. No. I'm in love. This isn't love. This is obsession. He limped closer, wincing. Call it whatever you want. You're mine. And if I can't have you, no one will. Darius, please. Please what? Please let you run off with some gangster? Please watch you replace me. You replace me first. With my sister. He slapped her. Her head snapped to the side. Blood filled her mouth. The tattooed man cleared his throat. Yo, man. We got a problem. Darius frowned. What? The girl. I just got a text from my boy. She's connected. Connected to who? Min Jae. The room went silent. Darius's face paled. Who? Min Jae. The Min Jae. You know, the guy who runs half this fucking city. The guy whose family has been in the game for 3 generations. Another man spoke up, his voice shaking. Dude, you said this was just some girl. You didn't say she was his girl. I didn't know. You didn't know? The tattooed man grabbed Darius by the collar and slammed him against the wall. Do you have any idea what you just did? You hired us to kidnap the one person in Seoul we can't touch. I didn't. The man punched Darius. Blood exploded from his nose. You're a dead man, and you just dragged us all down with you. A younger gang member pulled out his phone, hands shaking. I'm calling him. Maybe if we apologize. You think an apology is going to save us? Another man yelled. They started arguing, shouting, blaming each other. And Josephine sat there, heart pounding, wondering if she'd make it out alive. Across the city, Min Jae stood in his office. Late night meeting. 5 of his top men around the table. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He glanced at it, almost ignored it. Something made him answer. Hyung. The voice was shaky. Young. Terrified. It's Ji-hoon. From the South Side crew. Min Jae's eyes narrowed. The room went quiet. Why are you calling me? We fucked up. We didn't know. Someone hired us to grab girl. We didn't know she was yours until after. Min Jae stood slowly. What girl? Josephine. Dark skin. Pretty. Some guy said she was his ex. Where is she? Southside Warehouse. District 7. Hyung, we didn't know. I swear on my mother. If she has a single scratch on her when I get there, I'm killing all of you. Every single one. He hung up, grabbed his coat. Get the cars. Full crew. We're moving now. His second-in-command stood. How many men? Everyone. The convoy rolled through Seoul like a storm. 8 black SUVs. 30 armed men. Min Jae sat in the lead vehicle, jaw clenched, loading his gun with mechanical precision. His driver glanced at him nervously. Hyung, the Southside crew, they're small time. Maybe we should. I don't care if they're selling candy to children. They touch what's mine. Silence. They arrived at the warehouse district. Min Jae didn't wait for the cars to fully stop. He was out moving. His men fanned out behind him. Inside the warehouse, the argument escalated. We gotta let her go. And then what? He'll still kill us. Maybe if we explain. There's no explaining with Min Jae. Darius looked around, panicking. Wait. We can use her. As leverage. The tattooed man laughed bitterly. Leverage? Against him? Are you stupid or suicidal? If he wants her alive, he'll have to negotiate. He doesn't negotiate. He eliminates. Footsteps outside. Everyone froze. Heavy. Multiple. Getting closer. The younger gang member's phone buzzed. He looked at it. His face went white. He's here. The warehouse door didn't open. It exploded. Metal screamed as it was ripped from its hinges. Min Jae walked through the smoke. Calm. Deadly. Behind him, 30 men with automatic weapons fanned out. Red laser sights danced across the gang members' chests. Nobody moved. Min Jae's voice was quiet, but it carried. The gang members dropped their weapons immediately. Hands up. Trembling. Min Jae's eyes swept the warehouse. Found Josephine. His expression changed, just for a second. Relief. Then rage. He crossed the room and measured steps. His men kept their weapons trained on everyone else. He reached her, knelt down, cut the ropes with a knife, pulled from his jacket. Are you hurt? She shook her head. I'm okay. He pulled her up gently. His hands checked her face, her wrists, the bruises already forming. His jaw clenched tighter with each mark he found. Who tied you? She glanced at the tattooed man. Min Jae looked at him. You. The man dropped to his knees. Hyung, please. We didn't know. You should have asked before you touched her. We're sorry. You will be. Min Jae turned to Ji-hoon, the young one who had called him. You call me. That shows respect. You live. Ji-hoon exhaled shakily. Thank you, Hyung. Leave. Now. Ji-hoon didn't need to be told twice. He ran. Min Jae turned to his second-in-command. The rest. On your word, Hyung. Min Jae looked at the remaining gang members. You took a job without doing your research. That's sloppy. Sloppy gets people killed. Please. You put your hands on what belongs to me. That's unforgivable. He nodded once. His men opened fire. Josephine closed her eyes. But she heard it. The gunshots echoing through the warehouse. The screams. The bodies hitting the ground. It lasted less than 30 seconds. Then silence. Min Jae turned Josephine away from the carnage. His hand pressed against the back of her head, forcing her face into his chest. Don't look. But she had already seen enough. Darius tried to crawl away. Blood trailed behind him where a stray bullet had grazed his leg. Min Jae saw him. He handed Josephine off to one of his men. Take her to the car. Min Jae. Now Josephine. She was led away. She looked back once. She saw Min Jae walking toward Darius. Slow. Predatory. Darius whimpered. Please, please don't. Min Jae grabbed him by his hospital gown and dragged him up. You hired men to kidnap her. You put bruises on her wrists. Her face. I'm sorry. You had your chance to be sorry. You had your chance to walk away when I warned you. I love her. You hurt her. That's not love. Darius fumbled, pulled a gun from his waistband. His hands shook as he pointed it at Min Jae. Stay back, or I'll. Min Jae didn't even flinch. You'll what? Shoot me. I will. Then do it. Darius's finger trembled on the trigger. He couldn't. Min Jae moved faster than Darius could process. He knocked the gun from his hand. It clattered across the floor. Darius stumbled back, tripped, fell. He looked up at Min Jae with wide, terrified eyes. Please. Min Jae picked up the gun. You should have stayed in that hospital bed. I'll leave. I'll leave Korea. You'll never see me again. You're right about one thing. The gunshot echoed. Darius slumped. Min Jae stared down at the body for a moment. Then he turned and walked away. Outside, Josephine sat in the SUV, shaking. A blanket was wrapped around her shoulders. One of Min Jae's men stood guard. You want water, miss? She shook her head. The warehouse door opened. Min Jae emerged. Blood splattered across his white shirt. His face was blank. He walked to the car and got him beside her. He didn't say anything. He just pulled her against his chest. It's over. She nodded, but she couldn't stop shaking. His hand stroked her hair. No one will ever touch you again. I promise. You kill them all. Yes. Darius. Yes. She should have felt something. Horror. Grief. Guilt. But she felt nothing. Just relief. Take us home, Min Jae told the driver. They drove through Seoul in silence. Blue and red lights flashed in the distance. Police. But they weren't coming to the warehouse. They had been paid to look the other way. That was how his world worked. Money. Power. Fear. Josephine was part of that world now, and there was no going back. Back at the penthouse, Min Jae led Josephine inside. Blood still stained his shirt. His men dispersed. Cars disappeared into the night. It was just them. He locked the door behind them. Sit. She sat on the couch. He disappeared into the bedroom and came back in a clean black t-shirt. Poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Handed her one. Drink. She did. The burn felt good. Real. He sat beside her. They didn't speak for a long time. Just sat there, breathing, existing. Finally, she broke the silence. How many people have you killed? He didn't hesitate. I stopped counting after 20. And tonight, 7, including him. She nodded slowly. Do you feel anything? When you do it. He looked at her. No. Nothing. Nothing. Ow. He set his glass down. Because I learned a long time ago that feelings get you killed. You hesitate, you die. You show mercy, you die. You feel guilty, you die. That's a terrible way to live. It's the only way I know. She met his eyes. And me? Do you feel nothing with me? His expression softened slightly. You're different. Ow. You make me want to feel. That's dangerous. Why? Because feelings are weakness in my world. And weakness gets exploited. She reached for his hand. I'm not your weakness. I'm your strength. He stared at their joined hands. You don't understand what you're saying. Then explain it to me. He pulled his hand away and stood, walking to the window. There are people who would use you to get to me, who would hurt you to hurt me, who would kill you just to prove a point. Then protect me. He laughed bitterly. I can't protect you from everything. You protected me tonight. Because I got there in time. What about next time? What if I'm not there? She stood and walked to him. Then teach me. He turned. Teach you what? How to survive in your world. How to fight. How to protect myself. Josephine, I'm serious. I don't want to be a liability. I don't want to be the weakness that gets you killed. He searched her face. You're asking me to turn you into something you're not. No, I'm asking you to help me become what I need to be. Silence. Then he nodded. Okay. The next morning, Min Jae woke her at 5 a.m. Get up. We start now. She groaned. It's 5 in the morning. The people who want you dead don't sleep in. Neither do we. He dragged her out of bed and took her to a private gym in the basement of the building. First lesson. Hand-to-hand combat. I've never fought before. You're about to learn. He didn't go easy on her. Within the first hour, she was on the floor. Bruised. Exhausted. Get up. I can't. You can. Get up. She got up. He came at her again. She tried to block. Failed. Hit the mat hard. Again. This went on for weeks. Every morning at 5 a.m., 2 hours of combat training. She learned how to throw a punch, how to block, how to use someone's weight against them, learned where to hit to disable, throat, solar plexus, knees, groin, learn how to get out of holds, break fingers, survive. One morning, 3 weeks in, she finally landed a solid punch on Min Jae's ribs. He stumbled back and smiled. Good. Again. She came at him. He blocked, countered, swept her legs. She fell, but rolled and came up in a defensive stance. He nodded approvingly. You're learning. I have a good teacher. You have a ruthless teacher. There's a difference. After combat came weapons training. Knives first. A knife is personal, Min Jae explained, holding a tactical blade. Close range. Intimate. Most people hesitate with a knife because they have to look their target in the eye. And you. I don't hesitate. He taught her how to hold it, how to strike, where to cut. Always go for arteries. Femoral. Carotid. Brachial. Make it count. This is insane. This is survival. Then guns. They went to a private underground range. Illegal. He handed her a Glock 19. This is your new best friend. The weight felt wrong in her hands. I don't know if I can. You can. And you will. He stood behind her, adjusted her grip and stance. His body pressed against hers. Breathe. Aim. Squeeze. Don't pull. She fired. The recoil shocked her. Missed completely. Again. She fired. Again. And again. By the end of the session, she was hitting center mass. Better, he said. But you need to be faster. In a real situation, you won't have time to aim. The training was brutal. She went to bed sore every night. Woke up even sore. But she got stronger. Faster. Deadlier. Something else changed too. She stopped feeling like a victim. Started feeling like a predator. One night, 6 weeks in, they were sparring. She had gotten really good. Min Jae came at her with a combination. She blocked, ducked, countered with an elbow to his jaw. He grabbed her wrist. She twisted, broke his grip, swept his legs. He went down. She followed, straddled him, blade to his throat. They froze, both breathing hard. His eyes gleamed. Well, look at you. She smiled. Leaned down. I learned from the best. You're dangerous now. Good. She kissed him hard. Hungry. He flipped them, pinned her to the mat. You want to play dangerous games? With you? Always. They didn't make it back upstairs for another hour. Min Jae decided she was ready for a real test. There's a meeting tonight. Low-level dealers. They owe money. You're coming with me. Why? Because you need to see what this life really looks like. Not just training. Reality. She nodded. They arrived at a warehouse in Gangnam. 4 men waited inside. They straightened when Min Jae entered, nervous. Hyung, we have the money. You're 2 weeks late. Business has been slow. That's not my problem. Min Jae sat. Josephine stood behind him, silent, observing. One of the men glanced at her. Who's she? None of your concern. The money. They placed stacks of cash on the table. Min Jae counted it. This is short. That's everything we have. Then you have a problem. Tension spiked in the room. One man's hand moved toward his waistband. Josephine saw it before Min Jae did. Instinct took over. She moved, pulled the knife from her thigh holster, had it at the man's throat before he could draw his gun. Don't. Everyone froze. The man's eyes went wide. Min Jae didn't even turn around. Good instincts, baby. He finally looked at the man. She just saved your life. If you'd drawn that gun, you'd be dead. Thank her. The man swallowed. Thank you. Josephine removed the knife and stepped back. Her heart pounded, but her hand was steady. Min Jae stood. You have 48 hours to get me to rest. After that, we have a different conversation. Yes, Hyung. They left. In the car, Min Jae looked at her. How do you feel? Like I just held a knife to someone's throat. And I didn't hesitate. No, you didn't. He reached over and squeezed her hand. You're ready. For what? Everything. That night, they celebrated. Expensive restaurant. Private room. To you. Min Jae raised his glass. My beautiful, deadly woman. She clinked her glass against his. I couldn't have done it without you. You had it in you all along. I just brought it out. They ate, drank, talked. For the first time in months, Josephine felt complete. Not broken. Not scared. Powerful. After dinner, they went back to the penthouse. Min Jae pushed her against the door the moment they were inside. Do you have any idea how hard it was not to touch you tonight? Why didn't you? Because I wanted to wait until we were alone. His mouth crashed against hers. Demanding. Possessive. She kissed him back with equal intensity. Say it, he commanded, hovering above her. I'm yours. Again. I'm yours, Min Jae. Forever. Forever. They didn't make it to the bedroom. Later, tangled in sheets on the living room floor, he traced patterns on her skin. You're different than when I met you. Is that good or bad? It's perfect. She turned to face him. Do you ever regret it? Bringing me into this? No. Do you? She thought about it. 6 months ago, she was crying herself to sleep, letting Darius destroy her, letting her sister betray her. Now, she was strong, feared, protected, dangerous. No, she said finally. I don't regret it. Good. Because there's no going back now. I don't want to go back. He pulled her closer. Then welcome home. Everything was perfect. For exactly 3 weeks. Then Min Jae's phone rang at 2 a.m. He answered, listened, and his expression darkened. When? How many? I'm on my way. He hung up, got out of bed, and started dressing. What's wrong? There's been an attack. One of my warehouses. 4 men dead. Who? I don't know yet. But I'm going to find out. He strapped on his shoulder holster and checked his gun. Stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. Min Jae. Josephine. Stay here. He kissed her hard, and then he was gone. The apartment felt too quiet after Min Jae left. Too empty. Josephine tried to sleep, but couldn't. She lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to every sound. Every car passing by, every footstep in the hallway, every creak of the building. By 4 a.m., she gave up. She got out of bed, made coffee she didn't drink, and paced. Her phone sat on the counter, silent. No updates from Min Jae. She wanted to call him, but she knew better. He needed to focus. So she waited. By 6 a.m., still nothing. She went to the gym, working out until her muscles screamed, practicing knife work on the dummy, running drills. Anything to keep her mind occupied. By noon, she was exhausted. She showered, changed, tried to eat, but the food tasted like cardboard. At 2 p.m., her phone finally rang. She grabbed it. Not Min Jae. An unknown number. She hesitated but answered. Hello. Heavy breathing. Josephine. A man's voice. Rough. Korean accent. Who is this? You don't know me. But I know you. I know everything about you. Her blood ran cold. What do you want? I want you to give Min Jae a message. Tell him yourself. The man laughed. I would. But he's a little busy right now. Fighting for his life in Busan. Her heart stopped. What did you do? Me? Nothing. Yet. But I will. Unless you do exactly what I say. I'm hanging up. Hang up and he dies. Simple as that. She froze. You're lying. Am I? Check the news. Warehouse fire in Busan. Multiple casualties. Some still trapped inside. She grabbed the TV remote and turned it on. Breaking news. Footage of a warehouse engulfed in flames. Firefighters. Police. Ambulances. The headline. Gang violence erupts in Busan. Multiple dead. No. Oh yes. And your boyfriend? He's in there. Somewhere. Maybe alive. Maybe not. Tears burn her eyes. What do you want? I want you to come to me. Alone. No weapons. No backup. Where? I'll send you the address. You have 1 hour. If you're late, if you bring anyone, if I see any of his men, he burns. How do I know he's even alive? A pause. Then Min Jae's voice, faint and pained. Josephine. The line cut off, replaced by the man's voice again. 1 hour. Come alone. He hung up. Her phone buzzed immediately. An address in Incheon. She stared at it. Every instinct screamed trap, but she couldn't risk it. If there was even a chance Min Jae was alive, she had to go. She grabbed her jacket, checked the knife strapped to her thigh and the gun in her purse. She knew Min Jae had said no weapons, but she wasn't stupid. She left the penthouse, got in her car, and started driving. The address led her to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of Incheon, an industrial area, deserted. Perfect place for an ambush. She parked a block away and approached on foot. The building loomed ahead, dark and decaying. She texted the number. Me. I'm here. Unknown. Come inside. 2nd floor. Alone. She took a deep breath and walked in. The factory was a maze of rusted machinery and broken concrete. Shadows stretched across the floor. She climbed the stairs slowly, hand on the gun in her purse. The 2nd floor opened into a large space, empty except for one man. Tall, scarred face, dead eyes. Josephine. Finally. Where is he? Patience. He circled her slowly. You're prettier in person. I can see why he's obsessed. Where is he? The man smiled. Safe. For now. If you cooperate. What do you want? I want Min Jae to suffer. And the best way to hurt him is to hurt you. He pulled out a gun and pointed it at her. On your knees. She didn't move. I said on your knees. Shoot me then. But you lose your leverage. He laughed. You think you're smart? Brave. I think you're stalling. If you wanted me dead, I'd be dead already. His smile faded. You're right. I don't want you dead. I want him to watch you die. Footsteps behind her. She turned. 3 more men, all armed. Take her weapons. They moved toward her. She backed up. Don't. Take them. Now. One man reached for her purse. She grabbed his wrist, twisted and broke it. He screamed. She pulled her gun and fired, dropping him. The other 2 raised their weapons. She dove behind a pillar. Bullets ricocheted off metal, sparks flying. She counted shots, waited for a pause, rolled out, and fired twice. 1 man down. The second caught her in the shoulder, pain exploding, but she didn't stop. Fired again. He dropped. The scarred man stood there, gun still pointed at her. Impressive. But now you're out of bullets. She checked her magazine. Empty. Fuck. And bleeding. You got what? 5 minutes before you pass out. Her shoulder burned. Blood soaked her shirt. He was right. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to come with me. Quietly. Or I'm going to put a bullet in your leg and drag you. She reached for her knife. He fired. The bullet grazed her thigh. She collapsed. No more tricks. He walked toward her, grabbed her hair, and yanked her up. Let's go. Your boyfriend's waiting. He dragged her to a van outside and threw her in the back. 2 men held her down. They drove for 20 minutes. When they stopped, they pulled her out and into a different warehouse. This one was active, guards everywhere. They took her inside, down a hallway, into a large room. And there he was, Min Jae, tied to a chair, beaten, bloody, but alive. His eyes met hers, rage, relief, horror. Josephine, Min Jae, the scarred man, shoved her forward. She felt her knees in front of him, reunited. How touching. Min Jae strained against his restraints. Let her go. This is between us. Oh, I don't think so. See, I've learned something about you, Min Jae. You don't care about pain. Not your own, but her pain. He grabbed her hair, forced her head back. That's different. Min Jae's eyes went dark. Pure murder. Touch her again, and I'll kill everyone you've ever loved. You're not in a position to make threats. The man pulled out a knife and pressed it to her throat. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hurt her. Slowly. And you're going to watch. And when I'm done, I'm going to kill you both. Please, she whispered, not to him, but to Min Jae, telling him with her eyes what she was about to do. The man leaned down, knife at her throat, breath hot on her neck. Any last words? Yes. What? You should have checked better. She drove her head back, slammed it into his nose. Bone crunched. He stumbled. She grabbed the knife from her boot, the one they'd missed, spun, and drove it into his thigh. He screamed and dropped his knife. She grabbed it, cut Min Jae's restraints. Go! Chaos erupted. Guards flooded the room. Min Jae grabbed the gun from the first guard to reach them, shot him, and took his weapon too, tossing one to her. Can you shoot? Watch me. They moved together, back to back, like they trained. She fired, dropping one guard. Min Jae took out 2 more. More poured in. They ran down the hallway, bullets chasing them into another room. Min Jae barricaded the door. We need to get out. No shit. He checked his gun. 3 bullets left. I have 5. That's not enough. Then we make them count. The door started to splinter. They were coming through. Min Jae looked at her. I'm sorry I brought you into this. I'm not. Josephine, if I'm going to die, I wanted to be with you. He pulled her close and kissed her hard. You're not dying today. The door burst open. Everything happened fast. Too fast. Min Jae shoved her behind him and opened fire. She fired over his shoulder. Bodies dropped, but there were too many. One got through. Grab her. She fought, kicked, claw bit. Min Jae turned and shot the man in the head. Another came from behind and hit Min Jae with a bat. He went down. No, she shouted. She fired, dropping the attacker, and ran to Min Jae. Get up. Get up. He was dazed, blood pouring from a gash on his head. More guards were coming. She pulled him up and dragged him toward a window. "Can you jump?" she asked. "Do I have a choice?" No. They jumped. They hit the ground hard after the two-story drop. Pain shot through Josephine's already injured shoulder. Min-jae groaned. "Move. We have to move." She pulled him to his feet, and they ran. Behind them, shouts and gunfire echoed, but they had a head start. They made it to the street and flagged down a taxi. The driver took one look at them, bloody, beaten, and hesitated. Min-jae pulled out a stack of cash. "Drive. Now." The man drove. They arrived at a safe house in Gangnam, one of Min-jae's backup locations. A small apartment with bare essentials and medical supplies. Min-jae collapsed on the couch. Josephine grabbed the first aid kit. "Let me see." His head wound wasn't as bad as it looked. She cleaned it and bandaged it, then checked his ribs, bruised, maybe fractured. "You need a hospital." "No hospitals. They'll find us." "Min-jae." "I'm fine." He grabbed her hand and looked at her shoulder. "You're shot. It's just a graze." "Let me see." She peeled off her shirt. The bullet had torn through muscle. Painful but not fatal. He cleaned it carefully. "This is going to hurt." "I know." He pressed gauze to the wound. She hissed but didn't cry. He wrapped it tight. "You saved my life," he said quietly. "You saved mine first. We're even then." "No, we're more than even." She cupped his face. "We're alive. Together. That's all that matters." He kissed her, gentle and tender, so different from before. "I meant what I said. I love you. I love you too." 2 weeks after the warehouse, the war ended. Min-jae's men tracked down every member of the rival gang and eliminated them all. Seoul's underworld got the message. Touch what's Min-jae's and you disappear. Life returned to a new normal. Josephine trained every day, became better with a gun than half of Min-jae's men, better with a knife than most. Min-jae started including her in meetings, decisions, operations. She wasn't just his woman anymore. She was his partner, equal, feared, respected. One night, they stood on the penthouse balcony, the city glittering below. His arms wrapped around her from behind. "Do you ever think about leaving?" she asked. "This life?" "Yeah." He was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes. But then I remember. This is all I know. We could learn something different. Could we?" She turned his arms. "Maybe. Someday." He smiled, sad and beautiful. "Someday." He kissed her forehead. "But until then, we survive. Together. Together." She looked out at Seoul, the city that had broken her, and rebuilt her into something dangerous, something powerful, something she never thought she could be. 6 months ago, she had cried over a man who didn't deserve her tears. Now, she stood beside a man who would burn the world for her, and she would do the same for him. "What are you thinking?" Min-jae asked. She smiled. "That I ran from danger my whole life." And she turned to face him fully, meeting those dark, dangerous eyes, only to surrender to the man who became it. He pulled her close. No regrets. She thought about everything. The pain, the blood, the violence, the transformation. Not a single one. He kissed her then, deep, possessive, perfect. She kissed him back. The truth was clear. She didn't need saving. She needed claiming. She needed darkness. She needed him. And he needed her. Two broken people who found each other in blood and fire, forging something unbreakable. They say love is supposed to be light, safe, pure. But mine was forged in darkness, built on blood and bullets and broken bones. And I wouldn't change a single second. Because in his world, in our world, love isn't soft. It's survival. It's possession. It's war. And I'd fight that war every single day. For him. With him. Until the very end. You made it to the end. Drop a red heart in the comments if this story had you in a chokehold. Comment your favorite moment. If you loved this dark romance, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just getting started with these intense stories. Like this video if you want more Afro-Korean content, and share it with someone who loves dangerous love stories. Until next time, stay dangerous, stay passionate, and remember, sometimes the darkest love stories are the most beautiful ones.